It's been almost 8 years I have been living in Germany, and I never thought that when I came to Germany in 2013, that almost 8 years from now, in 2020, I will be, it's like almost 7.5, but so you can say almost 8, that I will be sitting at 10 p.m. in the night after I made our baby sleep while doing PhD and while having all this stress of household things. I will be making a video about things I've changed in my life over the period of 8 years of my being in Germany. Hi there, I'm Nikita and welcome to another video on this channel where I decided to randomly share things with you that I changed in my life over this entire span of my life in Germany. The very first thing I changed in my life is punctuality. Now, we know that Indians are famous for not being punctual and Germans are famous for being punctual. It must have been a struggle for me to come from this end of the pole to that end. It was indeed, but I really love being punctual because I think punctuality not only taught me discipline, determination, but it also helped me see time from a different point of view. That time is not only important for you, but time is also important for the other person. So it's good that you value your time, but it's nice that you also value the other person's time. So I believe that punctuality is one of the most beautiful changes that I have made in my life over these 8 years of my life in Germany. And naturally, Germany has a huge role to play in it, because probably if I would be back in India and if I would have never come to Germany, I would have never realized, because here people are really punctual and you do indeed face a lot of trouble when you don't be punctual, or you lose an appointment, or you come 2-3 minutes late. So maybe I can say I learned the hard way, but I learned it and I love being punctual. The second thing I learned is being straightforward is not bad. In fact, it's actually good. If somebody asks you a question and you, instead of roaming around and running here and there, loops and iterations, it's better to just say yes or no. It's really not time consuming, it's like anti-time consuming, and it brings the entire discussion or entire focus on the answer, and then it's done. So being straightforward is a bliss, and if you can learn this art of being straightforward, you probably will reach places. Another thing that I really like and I changed in my life is spending time with nature. I have this list of things that I have changed, that's why I'm looking in my phone. Spending time in nature is one thing that I absolutely love these days, because I remember when I was new here and I used to ask my friends, what are you going to do? Then they were like, yeah, we will go for a walk in the forest. Okay. Then I said 2 weeks later, what are you going to do on this weekend? They're like, yeah, we would just go for a hiking trip. Then again, I would ask them and they would mostly end up saying, okay, we are going to a wild park for a walk, or we are going in the forest, or we are driving to Alps with our family. And I was like, why would you do that? Now, I back then could not really understand, but now when I myself have seen the nature and I've spent time in it, so it's an amazing blessing to have nature around you. And above that, to be able to spend some time in nature is really like a cherry on top of the cake. And now I just love nature so much that each weekend I at least want to walk an hour or an hour and a half with our entire family in the forest in peace, where I can hear nobody, nothing, and we just walk, we hike, and we come back. Driving sensibly. I know I drove in India for like 4 years or something, and Indian drivers are also not very famous for sensible driving. I would not say I was driving rash, but I was driving somehow kind of like, okay, I will drive. I definitely never crossed the red lights, but I just drove like, okay, I will drive and I will just make sure that I will not hit anybody and not let anybody hit me. But I wasn't driving really this sensibly. But since I had to take all these driving lectures or driving classes here in Germany, go through an extensive process of getting a driving license, and go through this entire highway classes and classes in like on the, how is it called, the Landstraßen, I really country roads, I realized that sensible driving is one thing that each person should be capable of doing, because otherwise you're putting not only yourself but also other people at risk. Another thing that I loved is, actually I loved and I also learned it very late, is like not push people into corners. And I think this is also very German trait, could be also from other countries, but it's kind of a trait where if you ask somebody or if you offer somebody something and they say okay no, you just accept it and you just don't force them. Probably maybe one more time you will ask them, and if they again say no, you will just be like okay fine, I respect your wish. But in India it's like we call it manuhar. If you're offering somebody some food and if they say no, you take it, you like assume that they want it more, but they are not saying it, so you ask again. And if they again say no, you're like no, they're shy, they're not asking it, so you would again ask them, and like fourth time you will just give them the food. You will not even wait that they would say yes. So this is something that I would put it in the category of pushing people into corner, because if you would push them into corner and if you will give them the food, they have to either eat it or throw it, and throwing is really bad, so they will end up eating and then maybe getting a bellyache or a Bauchschmerzen. So this is one thing that I also think I change in myself these days. If I ask somebody and if they answer me okay this is the case, then I just really take their answer, and I don't really think for them that they must be shy or they are like no, they still mean something else. I just take their answer and I'm finished. Another thing I changed in myself is that in India I was not really aware that whenever I was going through doors, I would just open the door, I would get in and I would leave the door behind me close. Even if somebody would be behind me, I mean like not intentionally, but subconsciously I would just not think that somebody's coming, I should leave the door open, or I should keep the door open and offer this person to get through. Germans do that, and this is another extremely beautiful trait that I learned from them, that if somebody is coming out of the door, like not the door, out of the building, it's nice to just open the door and let them through. And if you are getting inside a building and there's somebody who's coming behind you, then you can of course like wait for 2 seconds more and leave this door open. Not that only males should be opening doors for females, but it's also the other way around. And this is one of the best things, because I would say this is where I see equality. This is where I see it doesn't matter whether you are a boy or a girl or a male or a female. You just open the door because you're a human at the end of the day. And that's what life is about, being human. Because if you want equality, you have to treat yourself equal to the other person, not higher, not lower. Much love.